It's cold, but not nearly as bad as you're reporting.
Yes, it's a thing of pride for us. Raywat Deonandan, here they announced that anybody over the age of 18 with recommendations as far as who should get it. But if you're over 18, you want to get that third dose, given that you've had that 6-month window, that you can get it. Is it a good idea?
Is it a good idea to get it if you're eligible? Yeah, if I were eligible and it was offered to me, I'd definitely get it. Is it a good idea to be offering it if we have excess doses and can afford it? Absolutely, we should. Is it a better idea to prioritize the rest of the world with our excess doses? I think so, if you want to treat the pandemic as a whole. But we're not doing that. So if we're not doing that, then yes, I think we should be looking for optimal immunity amongst those who have some immunity right now.
We've just reported on a story, Ray Watt, and it seems that it doesn't really matter what story it is in healthcare. Even though it doesn't seem to have a COVID-19 implication, it probably has a COVID-19 implication, where they're going to have to move some residents who are in an acute care bed, paneled and waiting for a PCH bed out, and moved hundreds of kilometers away to make room for others in those acute care settings. Is that something that's happening in other jurisdictions as well, or is that something unique to Manitoba?
It's something that has happened in other jurisdictions, but right now it seems to be exclusively a Manitoba or a little bit of a Saskatchewan problem, as far as I know. I don't know for sure what's happening, but the stories I'm getting tend to be from the prairie provinces. Now, what this underlines is that even in non-pandemic years, we have a problem with healthcare capacity in this country. Amongst OECD nations, the wealthy nations of the world, Canada always ranks near the bottom in terms of the number of hospital beds and acute care beds we have available at any given time. So when the pandemic hit, we didn't have a lot of buffer. So my hope is that when this is all over, we can reassess our healthcare capacity and invest in additional buffer space, the likes of which Germany has, which is extraordinary. So that is what we've got to focus on when this is all done.
So I'm wondering then, is this just a clear linkage that it doesn't matter what the issue is, that we need to put the whole system under the microscope sooner rather than later?
Oh, yes, this is a wake-up call without question, among many fronts. Health system capacity, health system communication, public health responsiveness, governmental responsiveness, science literacy, public compliance and responsibility, civics. We have a lot of work to do in this country and in many countries, frankly, in how to better respond to public health emergencies and disasters like this one, because this is not the last one. We're going to see other emergencies coming down the pipeline within the next few decades.
Tell us about the numbers across the country and what you see now and in the days and weeks ahead as we start to move from fall to winter.
Right. It is heterogeneous. It seems like most of the country is plateauing, but the reproduction number is slightly above 1 in most places. In Ontario, for example, we're hovering around 1.2, I think, which is concerning. I think what we're experiencing across the country is the post-Halloween bump. So young people are going to Halloween parties, and young people tend not to be as vaccinated as older people, and so we're seeing some transmission there. We're seeing the cold weather compelling people to be indoors more, including unvaccinated people. We're seeing lax use of the vaccine passport and vaccine mandate in some places. So the big question is, are we deep in the fourth wave still, or are we simply seeing a bit of a blip as the numbers continue to fall? We don't know yet. We'll know in a couple of weeks, but frankly, the experts in Ontario are saying we're probably in the fourth wave still, and we should look at pausing any reopening plans until we are certain of what's going on.
What's your gut say? You're an expert.
My gut is saying we should definitely not be opening up anything else for a while, at the very least, for reasons of understanding which decisions cause which response. So in some places, we've expanded the capacity limits of restaurants and so forth. In addition, we've opened up the Canadian-U.S. border. We've removed mask mandates in some places. That's a lot going on at once. So it's hard to say what's responsible for any given event. But we have the holiday season coming up, and that's when people are going to be spending a lot more times indoors and socializing. People voluntarily restricted their exposures last year. I don't think they're going to do it this year. I think we're going to see a lot of socialization. With that expectation, we've got to keep things under wraps so that we do not see an explosion of cases. That means pushing vaccination amongst the unvaccinated, and in your province, getting third doses into those who are eligible, and really being diligent about enforcing the rules that we currently do have, because our rules, I think, are good enough. The mask mandates, the ventilation, the vaccine rules, they're good enough. They just need to be upheld and recognized.
Raywat Deonandan, we appreciate you as always joining us this afternoon. We'll chat very soon. Thanks again.
Thank you.